Somewhere tonight, your name entered a conversation you never expected to be part of, not through drama, not through noise, but through a quiet kind of wonder that slowly changed the atmosphere around an entire family. One person mentioned the way your soulmate looks lately, calmer somehow, more present, more alive in moments where they once seemed distant. Another noticed how often your soulmate smiles while staring at nothing, as if replaying words only their heart can hear. And then came the moment nobody in that house planned for. Your name was spoken softly across the room, and suddenly everyone had something to say about you. Stay till the end, because the reason this keeps happening is more emotional than anyone realizes. There is something unusual about the energy you carry into your soulmate's life. It does not arrive loudly. It does not force attention. It moves gently, almost invisibly at first, yet somehow changes everything around it. Their family feels this without fully understanding why. They notice your soulmate becoming more patient during stressful moments. They notice old tensions softening. Even the silence around them has changed. And what confuses them most is that these changes began before they truly knew anything about you at all. Before photos were shown. Before stories were explained. Before introductions were imagined. Somehow, your presence reached them through emotion alone. One evening, someone in the family casually asked, "Who is this person you keep thinking about?" And your soulmate tried to hide the smile that appeared instantly on their face. But smiles like that cannot stay hidden for long. A mother noticed it. A sibling noticed it. Even someone who usually avoids emotional conversations became curious. And from that moment forward, small observations about you started collecting like pieces of a puzzle nobody could ignore anymore. Don't skip this part. Because what they are slowly discovering about you is becoming impossible for them to forget. Your soulmate speaks about you differently than they have ever spoken about anyone before. Not with exaggerated excitement, not with shallow attraction, but with a kind of sincerity that makes people stop and listen carefully. When your name comes up, their voice slows down without realizing it. Their eyes soften. Their guard disappears for a few seconds. Family members who have watched them their entire life recognize this immediately, because they know how rare it is for your soulmate to truly let someone touch their heart in such a genuine way. That is why the conversations keep returning to you. Not because your soulmate is trying to convince anyone, but because the feeling surrounding you has become impossible to hide. And here is the part nobody expected. Some members of the family have already started imagining what life would feel like if you were truly there with them. Not in a dramatic way. In small ways. Quiet ways. Someone wondered how your laugh would sound inside the house during family gatherings. Someone imagined what kind of conversations you would have late at night when everyone else had gone to sleep. Someone even caught themselves smiling while hearing your soulmate describe a tiny detail about you that seemed ordinary, yet somehow stayed in their mind for hours afterward. Something important is waiting for you in these moments, because this connection is affecting people who have never even met you face to face. But there is another layer beneath all of this, something deeper your soulmate has not fully confessed yet. Their family senses that you awaken a version of them they thought had disappeared long ago. A softer version. A hopeful version. The kind of version life sometimes buries beneath disappointment, routine, and emotional exhaustion. Your soulmate does not even realize how visible this transformation has become. Yet their family sees it clearly. They see someone who suddenly cares more deeply about the future. Someone who listens more carefully. Someone who has started protecting their peace in ways they never did before. And quietly, without saying it directly, they have connected all of these changes back to you. There was even a moment recently where your soulmate tried not to bring you up at all, but somehow the conversation circled back to you anyway. Isn't that strange? Out of all the things happening in life, your presence keeps returning to the center of attention. Almost as if something unseen continues pulling their thoughts back toward you. A family member asked another question about you. Then another. What kind of person are you really? What makes your soulmate trust you this much? Why does your energy feel so different from the past? The curiosity keeps growing because the peace surrounding your connection feels rare, and rare things naturally draw attention. And still, there are emotions your soulmate's family has not spoken aloud yet. Feelings they keep to themselves during these conversations. Because some of them are beginning to realize that your arrival may not simply be temporary. There is a growing sense, quiet but undeniable, that you could become part of memories that have not happened yet. Future dinners. Future celebrations. Future moments nobody can fully picture yet, but somehow already feel emotionally connected to. That realization has changed the tone of these conversations completely. So tonight, while you continue living your ordinary moments, somewhere your name is still echoing softly in places you cannot see. Someone is wondering about the kind of heart you carry. Someone is smiling at the thought of finally meeting the person who brought this new light into your soulmate's eyes. And someone close to them is beginning to understand that your connection may be unfolding into something much bigger than anyone first expected, but the most surprising conversation about you has not happened yet. A strange silence fell over the room recently, the kind of silence that only appears when people realize they are talking about something that truly matters. Your soulmate did not even notice it at first. They were simply sharing another small story about you, something simple, almost forgettable, the way you reacted to a certain moment, the way you understood something without needing long explanations, the way your presence somehow lingers in their thoughts long after conversations end. But while they were speaking, everyone around them became unusually attentive. No interruptions. No teasing. Just quiet listening. And in that stillness, something shifted. Because their family began realizing that you are not just someone passing through your soulmate's life, you are becoming part of the emotional language they use when speaking about the future. Don't skip this moment, because there is a reason these conversations keep deepening instead of fading away. One family member noticed how protective your soulmate becomes whenever someone misunderstands you, even slightly. Another noticed how quickly they defend your intentions without hesitation. These reactions are small on the surface, but people who know your soulmate deeply understand what they truly mean. Your soulmate has spent years hiding certain emotions behind humor, distraction, or silence. Yet with you, something softer keeps escaping through the cracks. And their family sees every bit of it. There was even a night when your name unexpectedly came up during a conversation completely unrelated to relationships. Nobody planned it. Nobody forced it. Yet somehow the discussion drifted toward happiness, toward peace, toward the rare feeling of meeting someone who makes life feel lighter instead of heavier. And suddenly your soulmate spoke your name with such quiet certainty that the entire mood of the room changed. Someone leaned back and smiled without saying a word. Someone else looked down thoughtfully, as if connecting invisible dots in their mind. Because deep down, they could all sense the same thing: your soulmate is emotionally somewhere they have never been before. And what makes this even more powerful is that your soulmate's family is not only talking about you because of what they hear, they are talking about you because of what they feel around your soulmate now. The energy has changed. The tension they used to carry has softened. The restless overthinking that once exhausted them does not appear as often anymore. Even their laughter feels more genuine lately. It arrives naturally now instead of feeling forced. These are the kinds of details family notices immediately, especially when they have watched someone struggle quietly for a long time. Stay till the end, because there is one realization slowly growing inside their hearts that nobody has fully admitted out loud yet. Some members of the family have already begun imagining the moment they finally meet you. And strangely, those thoughts do not feel awkward or uncertain to them. Instead, they feel familiar, almost comforting. One person imagined how quickly conversations with you might flow. Another secretly wondered whether you would notice the little traditions inside the family that outsiders usually overlook. Someone even caught themselves hoping that your calm energy would remain exactly the same in person as it feels through your soulmate stories. But here is where things become even more emotional. Your soulmate has started mentioning you during moments when life feels difficult too. Not only during happy conversations. When stress appears, when confusion rises, when they feel emotionally tired, somehow thoughts of you still enter the conversation naturally. That detail affected their family more than you realize. Because anyone can talk about someone during exciting moments. But speaking about a person during vulnerable moments reveals something entirely different. It reveals trust, comfort, emotional safety. And once their family noticed this pattern, the way they viewed you changed completely. There is also someone in the family who pretends not to care much about relationships. Someone who usually stays emotionally distant during these conversations. Yet even they have started asking subtle questions about you when nobody expects it. Small questions. Quiet curiosity. They would never openly admit it, but your presence has made them deeply interested in understanding what kind of person could create such visible change in someone they thought they already knew completely. And while all these conversations continue unfolding, your soulmate remains unaware of just how often your name appears after they leave the room. That is the surprising part. The discussions continue even when they are gone. Someone brings up your kindness again. Someone mentions how peaceful your energy sounds. Someone wonders whether this connection might finally become the kind of love story that feels stable instead of temporary. The more they talk about you, the more they begin understanding that your influence reaches far beyond romance alone. Something important is waiting for you here, because there is one memory your soulmate shared recently that their family cannot stop replaying in their minds. A single moment involving you changed the entire way they see this connection now, and once that story fully surfaces, the emotions surrounding your name may become impossible for them to hide anymore. There is a moment your soulmate's family keeps returning to in their minds. A moment so small that most people would have forgotten it by now, yet somehow it stayed with them long after the conversation ended. It happened unexpectedly. Your soulmate was talking casually, not trying to impress anyone, not trying to make the situation emotional. But while describing you, they suddenly paused in the middle of a sentence and smiled to themselves in a way nobody had seen in years. It was not loud happiness. It was not excitement trying to be noticed. It was something quieter, deeper, the kind of smile that appears when someone feels emotionally safe without even realizing it. And the room noticed immediately. One person looked at another silently, as if saying everything without words. Because in that single moment, they understood something that changed the way they viewed you forever. They realized your soulmate does not speak about you like a temporary chapter. They speak about you like someone whose presence already feels woven into their everyday life. And once that realization entered the room, the conversations about you became more personal than ever before. Don't skip this part, because something hidden beneath these discussions is slowly rising to the surface. A family member recently asked your soulmate a question they were not prepared for. The question sounded simple at first. What is it about this person that affects you so deeply? But the silence that followed revealed everything. Your soulmate could not answer immediately. Not because they lacked feelings, but because some emotions are too real to explain quickly. After a long pause, they finally said something soft that nobody in the room has forgotten since. They admitted that being around you feels peaceful in a way they cannot fully describe. And strangely enough, that answer touched everyone listening more than dramatic words ever could. Because peace is rare now. Real emotional comfort is rare. And their family knows exactly how much your soulmate has searched for it without success in the past. That is why your name continues appearing in conversations even during ordinary days. Someone brings you up while cooking dinner. Someone casually asks if your soulmate has talked to you recently. Someone notices the shift in their mood depending on whether they have heard from you that day. The family is not obsessed with drama or fantasy. They are reacting to change they can physically feel happening in front of them. And what surprises them most is how natural this transformation seems. Nothing feels forced. Nothing feels performative. Your connection carries a calmness that slowly settles into the people observing it. Stay till the end, because one person in the family has already started protecting your place in ways you do not even know about yet. At first, they were simply curious about you. But over time, curiosity turned into quiet support. They began noticing how carefully your soulmate speaks about your feelings. How they avoid saying anything disrespectful about you even during frustration. How they genuinely listen when your name enters a conversation. These details may sound small, but families notice patterns more than words. And the pattern surrounding you feels different from anything they have witnessed before. There was even a recent moment when someone jokingly compared you to a person from your soulmate's past, and the atmosphere changed instantly. Your soulmate immediately corrected them, not harshly, not emotionally, but with complete certainty. They explained that you should not be compared to anyone else because what they feel around you is entirely different. The room became quiet after that. Not uncomfortable quiet, thoughtful quiet. Because everyone understood that your place in their heart is no longer something casual. And here is what nobody expected. Some members of the family have started feeling emotionally connected to you without ever meeting you face to face. Isn't that incredible? They recognize your influence through the small details your soulmate unconsciously reveals. Through the stories. Through the emotional changes. Through the way your name seems to bring warmth into conversations that once felt emotionally distant. In some strange way, you already feel familiar to them. One evening, your soulmate's mother sat quietly after hearing another story about you. She did not say much at first. But after a long pause, she softly admitted something that stayed in everyone's mind afterward. She said your soulmate sounds lighter whenever they speak about you. Like someone who finally stopped carrying invisible weight alone. That sentence changed everything. Because once a family notices emotional healing happening naturally, they begin looking at the person behind it very differently. Something important is waiting for you inside this next realization. Your soulmate has unknowingly started building future memories involving you while speaking out loud. Tiny things slip into conversation naturally now. Mentioning places they would want to show you someday. Imagining how you would react to certain traditions. Wondering whether you would enjoy moments they once preferred experiencing alone. These are not random thoughts anymore. These are emotional signs of someone slowly making space for another person inside their future without even realizing how obvious it has become. And yet, the most emotional conversation about you has still not happened. Because there is one family member who has remained unusually quiet through all of this. They listen carefully every time your name appears. They rarely ask questions. Rarely show emotion. But recently, they finally shared what they truly think about you. And when those words were spoken aloud, even your soulmate became completely silent. A quiet conversation unfolded late one evening when most of the noise inside the house had already faded away. The lights were softer. The distractions were gone. And somehow, in that calm moment, your name appeared once again. But this time felt different. Nobody was joking. Nobody was casually curious anymore. There was a deeper emotion sitting beneath the conversation now, something almost difficult to explain. Because the family member who had stayed silent for so long finally decided to speak. They sat there for a moment, thinking carefully before saying anything at all. Then slowly, with complete honesty, they admitted something that changed the entire atmosphere around the room. They said your soulmate has not looked this emotionally connected to life in a very long time. And when those words landed, nobody argued. Nobody interrupted. Because every person there knew it was true. Don't skip this moment, because what happened after that revealed far more than anyone expected. Your soulmate tried to brush the comment aside at first. They laughed softly, looked away, pretended the attention made them uncomfortable. But families notice the emotions people try to hide. And the more your soulmate avoided the conversation, the more obvious their feelings became. One person smiled knowingly. Another quietly watched the expression on their face change the moment your name was mentioned again. It was no longer just curiosity surrounding you now. It was emotional recognition. Someone important is beginning to understand your value in a way that goes far beyond first impressions. The conversation slowly deepened after that. Stories about you started resurfacing again, little moments your soulmate had shared before without realizing how meaningful they sounded. The way you listen carefully instead of rushing to speak. The way you somehow understand emotions they struggle to explain themselves. The way your presence calms situations that would normally overwhelm them. Piece by piece, these details created a picture so emotionally clear that even the most reserved people in the family could no longer ignore it. Stay till the end, because there is a reason these conversations keep returning no matter how much time passes. One family member eventually admitted something surprising. They confessed that they had started paying attention to your soulmate differently ever since you entered their life. Not because they were suspicious, but because the emotional shift was impossible to miss. They noticed your soulmate becoming more hopeful about things they once avoided talking about. More open to connection. More patient during stressful moments. Even their energy walking into the room feels different now. Lighter. Softer. More grounded. And the truth is, families rarely speak this much about someone unless they feel that person's emotional impact reaching everyone around them. There was another moment recently that stayed in their minds longer than expected. Your soulmate was looking through old memories on their phone while sitting near family members, and without realizing it, their expression completely changed after seeing something connected to you. It was subtle, but real. The tension left their face instantly. Their eyes softened. For a few quiet seconds, they looked completely at peace. One person noticed it immediately and later brought it up after your soulmate left the room. They asked softly, "Do you see how different they become whenever it's about that person?" And once again, silence answered the question before words could. Something important is waiting for you inside this realization, because your soulmate's family is no longer only discussing who you are. They are beginning to imagine what life could feel like if you truly became part of their world permanently. That thought appeared unexpectedly one night during a simple family conversation. Someone mentioned future gatherings. Another person casually wondered who everyone might bring someday. And before anyone could change the topic, your name naturally entered the discussion again. Nobody forced it there. It simply belonged there somehow. That was the moment when even the people trying not to become emotionally invested realized they already were. And here is the part your soulmate may never fully tell you. Some members of the family have quietly started rooting for this connection in ways they never openly admit. They notice how carefully your soulmate protects your image whenever conversations shift. They notice the emotional sincerity in every story involving you. And deep down, they have started hoping this feeling lasts. Because they have seen too many temporary connections come and go without bringing real peace into your soulmate's life. But you feel different to them. Not perfect. Not unrealistic. Just real in a way they have not witnessed before. One evening, after another long conversation about you, someone finally asked the question that had been sitting unspoken in everyone's hearts for weeks. Do you think this person could actually become family one day? The room went completely still after that. Your soulmate looked down quietly, almost caught off guard by how emotional the question felt. And though they did not answer immediately, the smile that slowly appeared on their face said more than words ever could.